Hi everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, and this is Connor.
Hey guys.
We're going to talk about Arrow Season 4, Episode 21. It's called Monument Point, and full spoilers for the episode as follows. Now, full disclosure, both of us are not Americans, as is quite obvious, and we'd never heard of Monument Point. So much so that when Monument Point was brought up in the episode, Connor here had to Google it just
To see if it was a real place or not.
to see if it was a DC fictional place or if it was a
It
real
is, I
place.
think. Yeah.
So, apparently it's near Washington, D.C. So, there you go.
Yeah.
We learned something. That is one positive of this episode, is it taught us a bit more of geography.
But yeah. Well, I want to say before we get started, I have a newfound respect for Peter this week because I had to do this sober this week, and wow, wow. I don't know how he does it every week.
Yeah, this was pretty bad. The whole nuke thing, like, so Dark's got the Rubicon thing so that he can control the world's nukes. So he's trying to launch them all, which is going to take like 20 hours. So it gives them a countdown. They have to hack, and Felicity has to get her father on board to hack things so they can hack. But for me, the standout of this episode was the opening in the Russian nuclear like watchtower base thing, and the guy comes in. He's like, and all this is all subtitled in Russian,
Yeah.
and it's like, so what's going on here? Oh, the nukes are all about to launch. Blah blah blah. Someone's taking control, and then the guy with a straight face says, "And this isn't a prank." And it cuts to the guy at the control, and he sort of looks at him all worried and goes, he just sort of shakes his head, and I'm like, do you normally get pranks? This is a nuclear base, and
You shouldn't be running pranks in this place.
no, if there's one fucking job on the planet that I don't think there should be pranks in the work environment, it's a nuclear missile base thing, majig.
Yes. If
Bollocks.
nuclear shit is involved, maybe don't pull a prank.
And that's why towards the end, when it cut back to them, it's like, oh, missile BG-32-7 is launched. And I actually yelled out, "Are you sure it's not a prank now? We're sure this isn't some prank. That there's actually a missile heading for somewhere. Right? Just so we're sure." And then rather amusingly, Felicity's plan to try and divert the nuke was based on a prank she did in college or whatever when she confused the sat nav of something, the GPS of something.
Yeah. So everything thought that they were in a different place.
But she only managed to move it like a couple of miles to, or something like that.
Oh Jesus! I have so many plot holes with this episode. I mean, more than normal.
Well, I think the biggest one that was really frustrating both of us. So Felicity gets fired from Palmertech,
About fucking time, might I add. She's been shit at that job for months.
and the like, calculator her dad's like, "Oh, we need this new bit of tech that you've got in there to hack this in time." Blah 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 blah. Whatever, fine, right? And she gets kicked out of the building. She's not allowed in, and she can't get to it, right? And she specifically says, this is specifically a line of dialogue in the show, she says, "It's in Curtis's lab. We can't get to it." My immediate thought, Connor's immediate thought, I'm sure as well, was, well, phone Curtis. He's still on Team Arrow. He's still got a job there.
Oh, well, no, well, you say that. We haven't seen him in like 4 episodes.
Well, yeah,
at
he's
least.
on good terms with them, is what I mean. Right?
Yeah.
We've not seen him in a while, but he's on good terms with them. And he's not kicked out. You can still get in there. She specifically said his lab, not
Just go, phone out and go, "Hey, Curtis, look, you know what we're all about. There's nukes coming and shit, and we need
Yeah.
this piece of tech. Could you run it down for us?" Cool, see you in half an hour.
But there's no explanation given as to why they don't just do that. It's never even brought up. It's never mentioned. They just immediately start planning this elaborate heist.
Yeah, it's not even like they tell us Curtis is out of town or something like that. It's just like, nah, fuck it, we're just going to go steal the shit.
And like, the whole thing felt pointless. It was the most pointless, forced bit of, I don't know, action, I guess.
Tension?
Tension, action. Yeah, it was just forced. Like, there was no reason for it. Like, I was like, phone Curtis. This doesn't have to be a
I know,
scene.
just avoid all of this.
What's next? We had Mummy Felicity. For some reason, because Lance had to have a plot in this episode, so she's upset that he's going to lie to the authorities about knowing that Laura was Black Canary for some reason. And this is my problem with this, is that I don't understand why she cares about him lying about this. Because
she's a controlling bitch and like mother, like daughter.
yeah, no, but this is the thing though. At least if someone's that type of character and they're controlling and manipulative, I need to still see the motive. I still need to see why they
Yeah.
want the person to do this. I don't understand why she cares. Why does she have this noble thing? Even the best of the best superheroes would be okay with Lance lying about this so that he can still do his job. Because they're all working outside the law. But for some reason, she has a problem with this.
Yeah. I mean, does she know what she knows what her daughter does, right?
No?
To an extent.
I don't know. Does she?
I don't know.
She knows that she's friends with the Green Arrow. I don't know if she...
Yeah, and she was friends with Laurel, and she saved them all from the bees.
Yes, that's right. The bees, which were referenced in this episode.
I mean, Jesus fucking Christ!
I just
this is
didn't get
awful.
it. And the whole thing was is we got a scene where she brought it up, whinged at him to not do it, and then we get a second scene where he's like, "All right, I'm about to sign this. Here, read it," and he changed it to tell the truth, and that was it. It was two scenes, set up and then immediate. Just
Yeah,
he does what she said.
there was
Yeah.
no actual conflict or anything. It was
There was
just
no arc. It just here's a scene
set
that
up
tells
and
you.
resolution.
Yeah, nothing in between. It was so shoddily done. Speaking of shoddily done, flashbacks were back this week.
Oh man, I tell you which one really annoyed me. Weirdly, not because of what was in it, but the very last one, where it was placed. It was really short. It was only like 20 seconds, if that.
Yeah, yeah,
And
this is
it
the one
came
where
right in the middle of all this nuke stuff going on, and it was like,
yeah.
yeah, way to cut out your attention to show us something that happened 5 years ago that
Yeah.
no one gives a fuck about.
Yeah, that was the one with the woman that he's with getting possessed by the
The total, yeah.
totem. I say possessed, whatever, feeling the power of it, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that was that.
The other dude's immortal.
The other's immortal and takes like lots of gunshots, which by the way was hilarious. Every time he used his telekinesis powers, he
He
looked
looked
so
like he was
goofy.
going into a dance-off. It was
Yeah.
like,
Once you said that, I could see it, but my instant reaction was just, this looks goofy as hell. This guy cannot... Because don't get me wrong, doing telekinesis with your hand can look really silly, and it takes a fair bit of effort to make it feel...
good, yeah.
Yeah, on screen, but this just looked goofy. And you're right, it looked like he was about to break into
I'll tell you
dance routine.
exactly who he reminds me of.
Okay.
You know, in Scott Pilgrim,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the first guy who flies in with all the demon chicks.
Ah, yeah.
It's that guy.
The first X.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first X.
Okay, yeah. I can see it. I can see it. So that was Arrow this week. I don't know, was there anything that I've missed that we should talk about? I don't think so.
I mean, Felicity tried to divert the nuke and killed 10,000, like 30,000 people instead of 1 million.
Yeah, which
So we're
obviously-
gonna have to watch her feel super guilty about that next week.
which gave us the cliffhanger of Dark absorbing all that death energy, because that's what it does. Oh, we need to talk about Thea. Thea in the Truman Show style dome
Oh yeah. And we got something else after that as well.
with Alex, and you know, I will say this: I did chuckle a little bit when what's his name, Merlin, comes in, sits down, and talks to her. And he's like, I was doing this to, and she says, to protect you, yeah. And
Predictable.
But the way she said it though, it genuinely sounded like she was annoyed that the writing's so boring, which is why it made me laugh. It was almost like
It's like, yeah, look, I know. Can we just get on with this shit?
it was like the director went over to her, and that was the direction. You're just bored as shit of this awful writing, so just just deliver it that way. That's what it felt like. The other thing I'd point out in that though is I could barely remember this Anarchy dude.
I
was like-
forgot, yeah.
Yeah, I vaguely remember his face. No pun intended, because obviously his face is like burned and shit. But the only other thing I'd note of this whole plot is that it felt kind of pointless just so she'd have something to do, other than, you know, seeing her there after she realised she was trapped, and some really awful stunt double.
Again, yeah.
Like that fight she has with Anarchy in the back of the house. When she's doing like kicks and whatever, and there's a couple of pointless flips from Anarchy, like
And some really blatant pulled punches as well.
yeah. Every time it went to a wide shot and it was like clearly the stunt double is Thea, you could just look. Her face was a completely different shape, but it would linger on it for so long. She would like land in the ground and she'd sort of like hold her face in pain in the wide shot, and it's like this is still the stunt double, and I can clearly see it's the stunt double.
This is the third or fourth week in a row we've had this complaint, and
Yeah,
it's kind of strange because this wasn't a problem before. How
Yeah.
are they getting worse at this?
This is the sort of thing that's gotten better with TV over time. Because if you go back and watch Buffy, right, Buffy had some pretty dodgy stunt double moments, right,
Sure.
throughout. But that was, that was 20 years ago now. TV in general this is kind of something that's gotten better.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just,
Arrow specifically for the first few seasons was perfectly fine at it,
Yeah.
if not good.
so I don't get why this is happening now, but it seems to be happening a lot. So, and would it be so much trouble to get a stunt double that, because the hair's not important, the hair can be a wig, right? You can get that hair on anyone, right? I feel like the person who's stunt doubling, at least in that fight scene for Thea, has the completely wrong body shape. Like, it's clearly someone who's bulkier. Not fat, I'm not saying she's overweight, I'm saying it's just someone who's got a bulkier physique. So every time it cut back to Thea, it was like, man, she's really skinny again all of a sudden. Like, it was really
Yeah,
jarring
it's
to me.
really noticeable.
Would it be too much trouble to get a stunt woman who has got a similar body? I mean, because I feel like that's even more noticeable than anything else.
Yeah,
But
just
Whatever.
shoddy work, really.
what was the last thing you want to talk about?
Vinnie Jones is back.
That's right. Yeah, Vinnie Jones just showed up out of nowhere
He had about 2 scenes, 3 scenes.
for
just-
no reason, just to show up and be him.
How was this not publicised beforehand? How did we have no idea that he was showing up again?
He didn't do. Yeah, he literally just appeared like in a scene behind Damien Dahrk. I'm like, oh right, he's back. But even first, because he's had like a haircut. He's sort of got a clean shave thing going almost, and I'm like, wait, is that Vinnie Jones?
And then he opens his mouth and like, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's Vinnie Jones. Yeah, okay. Vinnie Jones is back. Sure.
And it's like, oh yeah, you broke him out of prison with everyone else. I was like, all right, cool, but what was the point in this?
So we had a recognisable like henchman that was after Calculator.
Oh yeah, I suppose.
Like, I
Could've
guess
said
that's
no,
it.
really.
I guess Vinnie Jones had nothing to do this month or whatever.
Also, it's bothering me more than ever now that Oliver doesn't shoot any arrows. Like, I mean, he shoots like one at the start of a fight, and then immediately runs in and just starts punching them and hitting them with the like. Fucking Archer, just take out 4 of them before you get close to any of them.
Yeah, he goes in for hand to hand immediately, and it's weird.
It's really starting to bother.
It wouldn't be as weird if it was just him, but because he's got a team and like Diggle can go in and do hand to hand, well, he covers them from a distance. The fighting style doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Especially when he was running in and Diggle was standing back with a gun. Oh, it makes no sense. It's infuriating. Oh, I fucking hate this show. I need alcohol again. I'm not doing this sober again next week. I'm just not.
This show is pretty terrible. So that's Arrow. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and like and subscribe and all that jazz. Helps us out a lot. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.